When the news of my elder sister's refusal to surrender even unto death reached the capital, everyone in the city praised her noble integrity. Truly worthy of being the eldest princess, facing the enemy's threats, she unhesitatingly threw herself upon their swords, taking her own life before the entire army, which fueled our troops' grief and rage to fight fiercely. They directly breached the city walls and captured one of the enemy's cities. Urgent news arrived in the capital. Just as it had in my previous life, hearing the news, I slightly raised my head. The palace maid was still chattering on, but I didn't take in much of what she said. You may leave now. Yes, princess. Looked at my own hands and feet, still intact and unharmed, in my previous life. The news of my elder sister's suicide by cutting her own throat reached the capital. The emperor was overwhelmed with grief and handled state affairs arbitrarily, leading to a fierce struggle among my elder brothers, which soon resulted in mutual destruction. The youngest brother's biological mother suddenly fell ill and passed away. The empress, using the excuse that she had lost her only daughter, took the young prince under her care. Together with my husband, General Hu, they worked to place him on the throne, making him a puppet emperor. In my past life, when General Hu returned victorious, he requested the emperor's decree, expressing his wish to marry me and cherish me dearly. Though overjoyed, I was also filled with apprehension. It is well known throughout the capital that General Hu and my elder sister were deeply in love. In private, I found Jet Hu and asked him why he sought to marry me. He said that since my elder sister had passed away, he felt adrift in the world like duckweed. Before her death, she had expressed how close we were as sisters and hoped he would marry me and take care of me for life. Seeing the sorrow in his eyes, my heart softened in the end. I thought, rather than being married off for political alliance later, I might as well marry him and warm Jet Hu's heart with my sincere affection. 3 years after we were married, the queen has now become the Empress Dowager, and the court is entirely controlled by the Empress Dowager, her maternal family, and those led by Jet Hu. Jet Hu gradually noticed my affection and began staying in my chamber, as I looked at my slightly swollen belly. Just when I thought our family of 3 would live a sweet and happy life together, my legitimate elder sister returned to the capital. She threw herself into Jet Hu's arms, pouring out her longing over the years. I stood before them, a wave of disgust washing over me, feeling like a clown. My elder sister went on and on about everything that had happened over the years. General, all these years, I have missed you every single moment. You truly are a man of honor and loyalty. Back then, when I asked you to marry my sister and take care of her, you actually did it. For the past 3 years, I was trapped in an enemy dungeon without seeing the light of day. Fortunately, the person taking care of me pitied me and secretly released me. Kira, aren't you dead? Jet Hu looked at Kira Mu, who had come back to life, then turned his gaze to me, who was heavily pregnant. His face lit up with joy, and he quickly walked over to me, holding his legitimate sister in his arms. Tess Mu. Look, Kira is back. She's not dead. She's not dead. Without waiting for me to speak, Jet Hu carried my elder sister into the backyard, had someone attend to her and freshen up, and poured out his feelings from the past 3 years to her. Then he immediately took her into the palace. By the time he returned, he had already brought an imperial edict. The imperial edict stated, the emperor bestowed the marriage, granting the grand princess to General Hu as his principal wife, while I, as a secondary wife, remained in the mansion. Once I gave birth, the child would be handed over to the principal wife to raise. The grace of the imperial family could only preserve the dignity of one of its members. I tearfully begged Jet Hu, pleading that I could be a secondary wife, or even a concubine. But I wanted to keep and raise the child by my side. A flicker of hesitation crossed Jet Hu's face. Seeing this, I grabbed his sleeve. I pleaded desperately. If my elder sister enters the household, I will seal off the courtyard. I am willing to never step out of the courtyard gate, only hoping that my child can grow up by my side, giving me a little support. Jet Hu was about to agree. My elder sister was even quicker to refuse. Sister, are you afraid that I will treat your child poorly? We grew up together since childhood, and the Empress Mother has always treated us the same. Why must you be like this? Tears glistened on her face. She gently leaned into Jet Hu's embrace. If my sister cannot bear to part with the child, then let the child stay with her. I'm only worried that taking care of the child might be too exhausting for my sister. Jet, who nodded, agreeing to the matter. My heart finally settled down. Little did I know. This was just another one of my elder sister's schemes. 10 months of pregnancy, 1 day of childbirth. The night I gave birth, Jet, who was spending his wedding night with Kira Mu. I gave my all to bring my daughter into the world. The next day, I was taken to the main hall by people from the courtyard, thinking I was to pay respects to her as a concubine. Little did I know, Jet, who had someone first sever the tendons in my daughter's hands and feet, then dig out her heart and hand it over to a servant. Before I could react, I tried to seize his sword, but he severed the tendons in my hands and feet just the same. I could only watch helplessly as he ordered someone to take the child away and bury it. My poor child, who had just been born without even opening its eyes or tasting a drop of milk, left this world forever. Jet, who held a bowl of medicine, gently blew on it to cool it down, and brought it to his legitimate sister's lips. It's so fishy. Be good. Bear with it a little. The imperial physician said that the heart of a newborn baby girl is the best for medicine. First, sever the tendons in her hands and feet, and while she is in excruciating pain and terrified, take the heart. That's when the medicinal effect is strongest. Mother and daughter share a heart. I imagine my sister is also in excruciating pain right now. General, why don't you go and comfort her quickly? It's fine. Tess Mu, if you behave, I will have someone heal your hands and feet and allow you to move freely in the courtyard. Once your health improves, I will let you conceive another child. It's just a daughter. She can cure Kira's illness, which is her blessing. Blessing? If it's truly a blessing, why don't you bring your sister's child and give this blessing to her? My daughter, and I don't want this blessing. Give my daughter back to me. Jet, look at your sister. Has she gone mad? Take her back. At Jet, whose command, several elderly matrons came forward and dragged me back to the courtyard. They put me on the bed and then left me to my fate, too. I thought I would die just like that. I never expected my legitimate sister would still not let me go. She resented me for truly entering Jet, whose heart over these 3 years, and for daring to bear his child. The next day, the deputy general under Jet, who took out a dagger and cut into my body slice by slice, just to make me feel heart-wrenching pain. From screaming in agony to finally becoming hoarse, it wasn't until my heart was torn from my body that I died with my eyes wide open. Then, I floated in the air, watching as the deputy handed the heart to Jet, who then gave it to the imperial physician. The physician casually tossed it into the pile of medicinal dregs, and half an hour later, he brought out a bowl of medicine, smiling as he presented it to Jet, who, General. With this heart full of fear and humiliation, the princess is sure to recover as soon as she takes the medicine. Amham. Jet, who rewarded the physician with a box of gold and then left, carrying the medicine. It wasn't until several days later that my body was finally taken away by the old maid who cleaned the courtyard and buried beside my daughter. He touched his cheek. The cold tears proved that I had truly returned to this world. He checked the time. It wouldn't be long before Jet, who would enter the palace to request an imperial decree, citing his military achievements as the main reason, and adding that my elder sister couldn't bear to see me marry far away for a political alliance as a secondary reason. He would use my sister's dying wish as the pretext to ask the emperor for our marriage. Someone come in. I wiped the tears from my face, but I didn't wipe them completely clean. After all, everyone in my palace belongs to the empress. Someone come in. Yes, your highness, your servant is here. The personal maid, Leah, pushed the door open and entered. My name is Tess, hers is Lee. This is what the empress thinks in her heart. To the empress, both she and I are merely servants. Help me get dressed. I want to see father. Yes. Although they were not my most trusted maids, they still showed me respect on the surface. After all, the empress was skilled at pretending. I arrived at father's hall of diligent governance. Father was quietly shedding tears. The eldest sister was his first daughter, born of the principal wife, and he had placed great hopes in her. Now that she had died a heroic death, his heart was even more tormented. Tess greets your majesty. You've come. Is there something you need, your majesty? Tess has heard the news about my eldest sister, but I cannot believe it is true. I beg your majesty to allow me to go to the border to search for her, staying in the palace. I miss my eldest sister so much that I wish it were I who had died instead. I spoke as tears streamed down my face, my head heavily knocking against the ground. It pained my father to see it. You have a good heart, but so many people witnessed it. You should stay and accompany your mother, father, if she is dead. I must see the body. If she is alive, I must see the person. I will go to the border and bring my elder sister back. Your Majesty, General Hu requests an audience. Father. General Hu and my elder sister are deeply in love. Given what has happened, I beg you to allow me to go to the borderlands and bring my sister back, so as to ease the general's longing. Let him in. You may stand aside for now, because my father was overwhelmed with grief. He actually forgot to have me withdraw from court affairs, and this is exactly what I need right now. After Jet, who came in with red eyes, he first looked at me with confusion. Then he knelt down to request permission for marriage. The emperor looked at him with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Before the emperor could speak, I knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times heavily, for if I hadn't done so, I feared I wouldn't be able to resist the urge to rush forward and kill him. I clenched my hands tightly, my eyes red as I looked up at the emperor. Father, I implore you to deny the general's request. Tess, your Majesty. I beseech you to issue an imperial decree for the marriage, to fulfill the princess's final wish. Father, this must not be allowed. Now all the subjects know that my elder sister sacrificed herself for the country, and the nobles and ministers are aware that General Hu and my elder sister were deeply in love. To the point of discussing marriage, if a marriage between me and General Hu is arranged now, those who know the truth would praise the general for his deep affection. Fulfilling my elder sister's last wish by voluntarily marrying her younger sister to take care of her. Those who don't know, however, might speculate whether the general is merely trying to curry favor with the imperial family, and that marrying any princess would be the same to him. Moreover, it would provoke discontent among the people. My elder sister died for the country, yet her beloved quickly marries her own younger sister. I fear it would lead the people to believe that you are unwise, that you did not truly cherish my elder sister, and that General Hu only sought imperial power and deliberately failed to save her. I still maintain my earlier words. I am willing to volunteer to go to the border and bring back my elder sister's body. If the general truly cherished and loved my elder sister, he should retrieve her remains and ensure she is buried with the dignity of a princess, rather than leaving her alone and neglected outside while he remains in the capital to marry and have children. My head hit the ground heavily, tear stains still visible on my face, presenting a picture of someone willing to die for my legitimate elder sister in my father the emperor's eyes. After all, father had been emperor for over a decade. At this moment, he narrowed his eyes, looking at Jet Hu, as if contemplating whether Jet Hu truly loved Kira Mu or was merely enamored with imperial power and the position of imperial son-in-law. Your Majesty, I truly only wish to fulfill the late princess's last wish. If your Majesty does not believe me, after marrying Princess Tess, I will not enter the bridal chamber but will immediately return to the border to search for the remains of the legitimate princess. I will guard the border for the rest of my life and vow never to return to the capital. Jet Hu spoke in a flustered manner, and his panicked demeanor at this moment seemed more like he was only concerned about imperial power. Father, the general's proposal is also inappropriate. If he marries me and immediately goes to the border, wouldn't that subject me to a lifetime of disgrace and ridicule? I do not wish to marry the general, nor do I want to tarnish the man my elder sister loved. I beg you to reconsider. Father, your Majesty, enough. Jet Hu had not yet finished speaking. The emperor waved his hand, stopping him. General Hu, you have had a long journey and must be tired. Please return to your residence and rest well. As for the marriage matter, I believe Kira was just missing Tess and spoke in haste. Or perhaps you misheard. Kira only asked you to take care of Tess, not to marry her. General, please go back and rest. I am tired. Yes, when the emperor said this, Jet Hu had no need to speak further. Only I knew in my heart that because I had been by the empress's side since childhood, in private, I was nothing but Kira Mu's dog. She knew that I would never dare nor refuse to obey her. This was her way of securing a backup plan. If she were to return in the future, I would have no choice but to kneel on the ground, yield my position, and beg for mercy like a dog. This was also one of the reasons she was so furious upon her return when she saw that I was pregnant. Father, my elder sister is gone, but please don't be sad. Your health is what matters most. I don't believe she is dead. Father, she isn't, right? After Jet Hu left, I walked a few steps to my father's side, sat on the ground, and leaned against his leg. I looked up at him with tearful eyes, filled with a mix of sorrow and reverence. Why wasn't it me who died? I would rather have died in my elder sister's place. You are all your father's good daughters. If any of you were gone, your father would be heartbroken. Go see your mother, she must be grieving as well. I understand. Father, I will go see mother. Please take care of your health as well. The people of Angwa will pray for my elder sister, and Angwa needs you. Father waved his hand and said nothing more. I walked a few steps, then suddenly turned back and bowed slightly to the emperor's personal eunuch, Chief Jiang. These past few days, my father has been missing my elder sister dearly. I must trouble you to take extra care of his health. Chief Jiang knelt on the ground. This is merely my duty. With a filial daughter like Princess Tess by His Majesty's side, His Majesty will surely remain in good health. Without saying more, I went to the Empress's palace with tear stains on my face. 3. When the nanny brought me in, the Empress still had a smile on her face, and the letter on the table was left just like that. It was only after seeing me that she withdrew her smile. She pretended to look sad. This is how the queen is, unwilling to part with power and glory, yet convinced of her own talent, believing she could achieve great things even in the remote mountains. So when her legitimate elder sister decided to elope with someone from an enemy nation, she not only did not stop her but instead admired her daughter's courage and planned everything for her, just so she could escape far away. Little did she know that the man only valued her legitimate elder sister's status as a princess, intending to marry her to gain support from the kingdom of An, thereby aiding the third prince of the kingdom of Shung in seizing the throne. Because her legitimate elder sister had faked her death, our army captured a city of the kingdom of Shung, and the third prince was punished, which also led to her legitimate elder sister and her husband falling out of favor. At first, the man even coaxed her legitimate elder sister into returning to seek power. Later, seeing that the legitimate sister had no such intention, he began to indulge in pleasure-seeking and no longer paid any attention to her. Only then did the legitimate sister remember to return. Your daughter pays respects to the Empress Mother. I obediently knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the Empress. The queen did not speak but merely pretended to weep continuously, while the matron beside her stepped forward and collected the letter. After a quarter of an hour, only then did the queen speak. Tess, it's you who has come. I was so consumed by grief over your elder sister's matter that I forgot to let you rise. Although the Empress said this, she still did not tell me to stand up. My elder sister died for the country, and I am also deeply saddened in my heart. I wish it were me who had died instead. I want to go to the border to retrieve my elder sister's remains. Upon hearing my words, the Empress was taken aback. Only then did she speak again. Tess, get up quickly. What are you, a girl, going to the border for? You are all I have left now. If you end up like your elder sister, how will I go on living? Mother, please take care of yourself. Enough, you may go. I have a terrible headache and need to rest for a while. Yes, I take my leave. After returning to the room, I sat quietly on the bed, contemplating the path ahead. Although I died a tragic death in my previous life, I had attended numerous banquets and was well informed about all the news from the outside world. It wasn't until night fell and the palace maid brought food that I gradually snapped out of my thoughts. The plan began to take shape step by step in my mind. Early the next morning, I got up and waited on the path my father would take after court. When my father was returning to the Hall of Diligent Governance, I stopped him. Tess, do you have something to say? Father looked at me with displeasure. Father, yesterday I went to see mother and found her in tears, looking utterly despondent. She even developed a headache. Since it's almost lunchtime now, I would like to invite you to join us for lunch at mother's palace to comfort her. I know it pains you to see mother, as it inevitably reminds you of my elder sister, but with mother's health in such a state, I truly feel uneasy. I believe my elder sister would have wanted both you and mother to take care of yourselves for her sake. Enough. You're right, then accompany me there. I don't have much appetite anyway. Let's just go to the Empress's palace and eat whatever is available. There's no need to announce our arrival in advance. The Emperor stopped the young eunuch who was about to announce his arrival. I breathed a sigh of relief, as this was exactly what I had hoped for. Otherwise, how would the Emperor have seen the table full of meat dishes in the Empress's quarters? Soon, We arrived at the Empress's palace. By the time the eunuch's voice sounded outside the door, the Emperor had already entered the Empress's room. The Queen Mother still had a piece of braised pork in her mouth, though she was only chewing the lean part. The fatty portion had naturally been discarded. "I greet your Majesty." The Empress knelt on the ground, with her matrons and palace maids kneeling all around her. I thought that with Kira gone, the Empress would be heartbroken, so I came specifically to see her. I didn't expect her appetite to be so good. "The dishes on this table are even more sumptuous than usual, Your Majesty. Your humble servant." The Empress had not yet thought of how to respond. Nanny Zhao knelt and shuffled forward a few steps. "Your Majesty, this is all this old servant's fault. It was I who, seeing that the Empress had no appetite, ordered more dishes to be prepared. It was also I who just coaxed the Empress into eating some meat, otherwise how could her body endure it? Nanny Zhao, it's fortunate to have you by my mother's side, otherwise I wouldn't know how to comfort her. You truly are remarkable, managing to coax her into eating a few more bites." As I spoke, my father glanced at the Empress, and his anger flared up even more, for Chief Steward Jiang also shot a fierce glare at Nanny Zhao. After all, he had served my father for decades. Due to the matter concerning my legitimate sister, my father had barely eaten or drunk anything these past 2 days and had already lost a significant amount of weight. No matter how much Chief Steward Jiang tried, he could only persuade my father to take a few sips of ginseng soup. In contrast, the Empress showed no signs of weakness. Instead, her face was radiant, as if she were in high spirits. "Nurse Zhao is quite capable, isn't she? Why not try persuading me to eat a few more bites as well? Your Majesty, this humble servant, please take care of your health. Your well-being is of utmost importance. Princess Kira would be heartbroken to see you like this. Father, I think Nurse Zhao is getting on in years and may no longer be suitable to serve Mother. Why not let her retire to her hometown? I will stay by Mother's side and attend to her." Approved. With that, the Emperor stood up angrily and left. As soon as the Emperor stepped out of the palace door, click, a crisp slap rang out. I knelt on the ground, gently licking the corner of my mouth. "Your punishment was well deserved. Mother, I admit my wrongdoing." "How dare you? Have you grown so bold that you would even lay hands on someone under my command?" "Mother, I did this for your own good." Father was already enraged earlier. "If I hadn't made that suggestion, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to protect Nanny Zhao. Do you think I am a fool? Nanny Zhao has clearly done a great service and deserves a reward. Mother Empress, you have seen it yourself. His Majesty has not eaten or drunk anything for 2 days and has already lost weight. If I hadn't suggested Nanny Zhao's matter, Father Emperor would have been angry with you. Mother Empress, such a sharp tongue. I never noticed you were like this before. Since you've said you will stay by my side, from now on, you shall serve me during my meal." "Yes." I stood up and began serving dishes for the Empress. "Madam, having you by my side all these years has meant so much to me. Now that the Emperor has granted you permission to return to your hometown for retirement, please go home and enjoy a life of comfort and happiness. Your Majesty, this old servant cannot bear to part with you. I cannot bear to part with you either." I watched the deep bond between the mistress and her servant. Yes, she couldn't bear to part with her. In front of her, she didn't even refer to herself as this palace. She's far more important than I, her own daughter, all the way until evening, aside from kneeling on the ground to massage the Empress's legs. I helped Nanny Zhao pack her belongings. It wasn't until nightfall that the Empress allowed me to withdraw. I quickly walked back to my bedchamber, dismissed the palace maids, and then slapped myself hard across the face. Looking at the blood at the corner of my mouth, I went to the kitchen and made a snack as quickly as possible, then headed to my father's hall of diligent governance. 5. Seeing Chief Jiang's apprentice outside, I revealed my wound and walked over. "Eunuch Zhong, is my father asleep?" Eunuch Zhong knelt on the ground. "Your Highness, not yet. I will go in and announce you. Thank you for your trouble." Eunuch Zhong is the most famous gossip in the palace, and he knows what should be said and what should not. Soon, Eunuch Jiang came out and summoned me inside. Seeing my face, he was momentarily surprised but quickly regained his composure. "Your daughter greets the Emperor, father. Rise. Why have you come?" "It's already so late, father. I have just attended to the Empress mother and helped her rest." thinking that you must be missing my elder sister too much to eat, and since it is already late, I prepared some simple snacks. I hope you can have a little, as it is vital to take care of your health. My father, upon hearing my words, finally set down his brush and looked up at me. Bring it here. I covered my face with my sleeve and placed the pastries on my father's desk. Why are you covering your face? It's all right, father, I'm fine. As I spoke, I took a few steps back, my voice trembling with tears as I retreated. Stop backing away, lower your sleeve and come here, father. I knelt by my father's legs with tears streaming down my face, looking up at him. Who did this to you? No one hit me. I accidentally bumped into something. Did you just return to your own palace? Yes, I helped Mother Empress settle down to sleep and then assisted Nanny Zhao in packing her luggage before returning. I was thinking, since Nanny Zhao has returned to her hometown, Mother Empress will have fewer capable people around her. The palace maids in my quarters were all trained by Nanny Zhao originally. Why not let them serve Mother Empress? That would bring her some comfort. Father Emperor touched my face, and I flinched slightly from the pain. I also pushed the pastries closer to him. You're right, Xiao Jiangzi, go ahead and arrange it. Have Tess's palace maids serve the Empress. As for Tess, let her choose a few maids she likes herself. She's grown up now. Have the morning light pavilion tidied up and let Tess move in there. Father, I don't want to live in that palace. I want to stay by Mother's side and keep her company. I know this is hard on you. Your mother, never mind. Move there, it's closer to me, so you can visit often. You don't need to attend to your mother anymore, really. Thank you, Father. I showed a face full of delight, which naturally made Father feel even more heartache for me. Go back and sleep. You'll move there tomorrow. I'm going back now. Father, you should rest early too. I beg you, as your daughter. All right, I stepped back, walked into the palace, and touched the furnishings in the room. 2 slaps in exchange for such a big gift. It's really worth it. Early the next morning, the news about me had already spread throughout the palace. The Empress naturally heard about it. I only gave her a light slap, and she actually went to complain to the Emperor. Your Majesty, please calm your anger. When I am no longer by your side, you must not get so angry. It breaks my heart to see you like this. Nanny Zhao wanted to say more, but she was urged to leave by the guards. Without the persuasion of Nanny Zhao, the queen, after dressing up, angrily went to block the Emperor on his way back from court. Your Majesty, did Tessmu complain? I only lightly hit her, and she moved out, and now she's telling everyone in the palace that I hit her. Empress, I am very tired today and wish to go back and rest. Your Majesty, when Consort Ayu died, it was I who raised her. She sent Nanny Zhao back to her hometown, and I was merely reluctant to part with Nanny Zhao, so I acted impulsively in a moment of weakness. Yet she disregarded our mother-daughter bond. Since that is the case, I no longer want this child either. Enough, we can discuss this later. I wish to return now. Your Majesty now finds me tiresome, completely ignoring that we grew up together. Childhood sweethearts, the vow you made to me of a lifetime with only me is still fresh in my memory. And now, because of a single word from her, you no longer trust me. Our daughter is gone, and now even Nanny Zhao has returned to her hometown. I feel as though life is not worth living. The Empress stepped forward and tugged at the Emperor's clothes. The Emperor rubbed his head and opened his eyes. The Empress also knows that Kira is gone, yet I haven't seen a trace of sorrow from you. Tess didn't say you hit her. She said she hurt herself by accident. As for how Consort Ayu died, you know very well. I've always felt I owed Tess, and now that you find her unsatisfactory, I will place Tess under Consort Ayu's name. Consider it a way to repay the debt from back then. Could it be that your wealth and status, and the affection I've shown you, are less important than a servant who overstepped their bounds, a fate worse than death? I certainly haven't seen any sign of that. The queen slumped to the ground, watching as the Emperor departed in his palanquin. I watched my father's receding figure. It seems there were many secrets in the past, but I don't have much time to uncover them now. 6. After moving to the Dawn Pavilion, Chief Eunuch Jiang brought a group of palace maids for me to choose from. The person brought by Eunuch Jiang is naturally excellent. It would be best to follow your suggestion. Whomever you choose to keep, I will keep. Your Highness, you flatter this humble servant. However, since you have spoken, I will select these few. Eunuch Jiang flicked his horsetail whisk. 8 palace maids stepped forward and knelt on the ground. Your Highness may select a few that catch your eye from among these. They will surely not disappoint, or you may keep them all. Then I shall thank you in advance. Eunuch, I will keep them all. Eunuch, I grew up in the Queen Mother's palace since childhood. Now that Nanny Zhao is returning to her hometown, I wish to see her off and give her some personal gifts. However, she is likely about to depart now, and my palace is in such disarray with things still needing to be tidied. Could you please help me summon Nanny Zhao here? I didn't have a proper farewell with her last night. I slipped a pouch of silver into Eunuch Jiang's hand. Yes, I will go at once. I breathed a sigh of relief. Others might not have been able to bring the person so easily, but it was different with Eunuch Jiang. He was my father's man, and who wouldn't give him some face? I kept his man here precisely to see how he would react once he learned of this matter. Soon, 2 young eunuchs brought Nanny Zhao over. Greetings, princess. May I ask what you mean by this? Although Mama Zhao was kneeling on the ground, her tone still carried an air of superiority over me. Mama, have a cup of water, all of you. Step back. After watching Mama Zhao drink the water, I had the palace maid stand guard outside the door. Princess, if there's anything you wish to say, just say it. Before she could finish speaking, Mama Zhao fainted. With great effort, I opened the floorboards, used a rope to drag Mama Zhao down, and tied her to the chair below. Only then did I climb out, panting heavily. Early the next morning, I lit incense for my mother. Mother, Father has posthumously elevated your rank as a consort. Although it's a bit late, I will continue to do better step by step. After finishing the incense offering, I went to the kitchen and made a bowl of noodles, then brought it to the Hall of Diligent Governance. Eunuch Jiang glanced at me several times when he saw me. Father, I made some noodles. Please try them. All right. Watching Father's dazed expression after taking a bite of the noodles, indeed, one only learns to cherish what's lost after it's gone. These noodles, it was my mother who taught me how to make it. Yes, when your mother passed away, you were already 10 years old. Seeing my father lost in thought, I walked behind him and massaged his shoulders. You knew how to make noodles at the age of 10. Your elder sister is a year older than you. Yet she didn't even know to call for help or save someone. Ah, I truly spoiled her too much. I held my head and collapsed into my father's embrace, summoned the imperial physician. When I woke up, I overheard the conversation between the imperial physician and my father. Your Majesty, the princess was deeply affected by the death of consort Ayu back then. The intense grief caused her to forget some things, and it seems this has left a lingering ailment. However, it is not serious. She just needs to rest. I will prescribe a calming medicine for the princess to take. Amham, I take my leave. Physician, do not go. I climbed down from the bed and stopped the physician. My father stepped forward and helped me up. Imperial physician, please take a look at Father Emperor. I'm fine. Could you prescribe a calming medicine for Father Emperor, one that won't harm his health, so he can rest for a while? Father Emperor will take the medicine shortly. After you've taken yours, Father Emperor will take his. Father Emperor coaxed me into drinking the medicine. I closed my eyes and pretended to fall asleep, and only then did Father Emperor leave to continue reviewing memorials. After Father Emperor left, I opened my eyes. Yes, I remember now. It wasn't that my so-called elder sister was too frightened to call for help to save my mother. It was her. She grabbed me, pressed me against the water's edge, and forced my mother to jump in, threatening to push me in if she didn't. After my mother jumped in, she gradually stopped breathing. I was so terrified that I fainted on the spot. The last thing I saw before losing consciousness was her vicious smile. No wonder I nearly died in several accidents that year. It turns out they weren't accidents at all. The reason they stopped trying to kill me later was because they realized I had genuinely forgotten. 7. How perfectly fitting. Now, everything makes sense. The Empress was frail. For the sake of the kingdom and her health, the Emperor had no choice but to marry many noblewomen. To balance the court, he allowed them to bear children one by one. Only after the Empress's health improved did she give birth to Kira Mu. Until my birth, because I was a girl and posed no threat to the kingdom, the Emperor favored me a little. Even this slight favor was enough to bring about our doom. Now it seems the Emperor's health is better than in the previous life, and he has not fallen into decline. In this life, I must strive for my own destiny. After I woke up, the Emperor had Eunuch Jiang escort me back to the palace. Princess, what about Nanny Zhao? Nanny Zhao passed away yesterday. I forgot to have someone inform you. Eunuch, yes, I understand. The next day, I went to see my younger brother, gave some things to him and his mother, and also asked consort Xiong to take good care of her health. I met with the emperor and requested a waste token to leave the palace. After repeatedly assuring him that I would not go to the border to search for my elder sister's remains, he finally permitted me to come and go freely. Drawing on memories from my past life, I quickly grasped the weaknesses of several individuals and secured their loyalty to me. I then pretended to pledge my allegiance to the crown prince. Subsequently, I informed the second prince of his dissatisfaction with having been the crown prince for over a decade. Sure enough, the very next day, they started arguing in the court. The second prince was impulsive in handling matters. Regardless of whether there was evidence or not, he directly lodged a complaint. Meanwhile, the crown prince was timid and fearful of trouble, before the second prince had even finished speaking. The crown prince was so frightened that he knelt on the ground and confessed without being pressed. To make matters worse, the third prince was on the side adding fuel to the fire. The emperor directly ordered all three of them to return to their residences to reflect on their mistakes. I waited at the entrance of the diligent governance hall with some snacks. After my father returned, I entered the diligent governance hall with him. Father, during my days outside the palace, I heard that the southern floods are severe. Everyone says it's the tears of heaven mourning the loss of my elder sister, claiming she was the true dragon maiden. They also say they want to request an edict to grant her the title of crown princess. How dare they? Instead of thinking of ways to share the burden for the nation during the flood crisis, they actually spout such nonsense. Father, please don't be angry. It pains me to see you like this. I know women shouldn't interfere in state affairs, but watching you worry so much, I couldn't eat or sleep peacefully. I've thought of a few methods to manage the floods. When you have time, please look them over as a pastime. If they prove even slightly useful, it would at least bring you some amusement. I handed over the flood management methods I had prepared the night before. My father gazed at me for a moment before finally opening and reading them. Looking at Father Emperor's increasingly relaxed eyebrows, Father Emperor would naturally like it. After all, this was a method I first proposed in my previous life, which Jethu slightly modified. After Jethu returned from managing the flood control, he pointed out the shortcomings and made further improvements, ultimately recording it in the annals of history. I had no idea Tess was so talented, even listing all the possible unexpected events. Father Emperor glanced at the dark circles under my eyes. You haven't slept all night, have you? It's truly admirable how much you care for the people and still remember to be concerned about Father Emperor's health. If only you were a boy. Father Emperor, your daughter's heart belongs only to you, as long as you are well. Your daughter is well. Go and rest now. Someone, summon the Crown Prince. Father Emperor is giving the Crown Prince an opportunity to earn merit. I just wonder if the Crown Prince will be able to seize it. Little Jiang, go and open my private treasury. Give Tess the luminous pearl presented by the state of Liang. I suppose a girl would like it. As you command. Leaving the Hall of Diligent Governance, Eunuch Jiang, Nurse Zhao should have arrived home by now. I wonder if the guards at the time went to report back to the Empress Dowager. Your Highness. Yes, Nanny Zhao has returned to her hometown. The guards will report to the Empress today. Among the palace maids selected for you, Xiong'er and Xiu'er are somewhat less clever. Perhaps it would be best to let me take them back for further training for a few days. Thank you for your trouble, Eunuch. Now only 6 palace maids remain. It is time to cultivate trusted aides. After Xiong'er and Xiu'er left, the remaining 6 palace maids stood before me. I called you here today to tell you that I have no other palace maids by my side. If you are loyal, whether you leave the palace to marry, become a matron in the palace, or take on a managerial role, I will make decisions for you. But if you gossip, betray your master, and forget your loyalty, I, as the princess, can also try to personally send you on your way. I have no disloyalty in my heart and pledge to serve the princess unto death. 8. After asking each of them about their areas of expertise, I arranged their duties accordingly, and then went to check on Matron Zhao under the bedboard. Princess, if Empress Mother finds out that you have confined me like this, she will not let you off. Oh, how will the Empress not spare me, by killing me like she killed my mother? You knew. No, you were pretending. You've known all along. Nanny, look at you. Though you are a servant, you live more comfortably than the wives of ordinary families. You haven't eaten for so many days, yet you still have the strength to struggle. You little beast, the Empress will not let you get away with this. I also know that my legitimate sister isn't actually dead. How foolish of her. General who is such a good man, yet she insisted on falling for someone from the enemy nation. You, who are you? You're not Tessmu. I am a demon from hell. Stay put and think carefully about the path you'll take from now on. Just emerged from underground, the palace maid came to inform me of the news, Your Highness. The Emperor reprimanded the Crown Prince, placed him under house arrest, and sent the second prince to manage the flood control. I see, the Crown Prince indeed acted as I had sent word to him. He went to the Hall of Diligent Governance to request an edict for his legitimate elder sister, asking the Emperor to decree her as the Crown Princess and announce it to the world. As expected, he was punished by the Emperor, after changing clothes. I left the palace and went directly to the third prince's residence. Sister Tess, what brings you here to see your third brother? Although my sister is a princess, she is also alone and helpless in the palace. I wonder if the gift I sent to third brother is to your liking. Oh, what gift? The gift is naturally the Crown Prince being placed under house arrest, if third brother can fulfill one of my requests. I will present you with another great gift. Let's hear it. I only hope that after third brother ascends the throne, he will arrange a good marriage for me, so that I won't have to leave my homeland for a political marriage. That's all I ask. This is the route and methods second prince used to manage the flood control, as well as his return route to the capital. Additionally, during floods, certain diseases are prone to occur. Here are the prescriptions for prevention and treatment. When the news reaches the capital, it will be the day for third brother to bring the medicine and claim credit. As long as third brother gives him the medicine on the third day of his illness, he will be left with a disability. Since ancient times, those with disabilities cannot become emperor. I placed the prepared items on the table, waiting for third prince's reaction. In my previous life, although Jet who managed to control the flood, he fell ill. If I hadn't rushed through the night, exhausting 2 horses to bring him the medicine, he would have either died or been left disabled. It seems my sister is already confident of victory, as if she knew all along. If third brother doesn't believe me, so be it. Why must you distrust me so? In that case, I'll just go tell father directly. I believe you. I grant your request. Then let me offer my early congratulations. Third brother, may all your wishes come true. Thank you for your kind words, sister. As soon as I returned to the palace, the news that my father was summoning me arrived. I glanced at Xiaowa, who was avoiding eye contact. After changing my clothes, I went to the Hall of Diligent Governance. Father, your daughter has arrived. Tess, I heard you went to your third brother's residence. What did you go there for? Father, I recalled reading in a book some time ago that after floods, epidemics often follow. I was worried about second brother and thought of asking third brother to send some medicine. If there is no epidemic, it would be a blessing for our country. But if there is, I hope third brother can control it quickly, especially since second brother is still there, and I am concerned about his health. I knelt on the ground, straightening my back. Get up and go make a bowl of noodles for Father Emperor. Yes, after bringing the noodles back, Father Emperor ate them while I massaged him. Watching his relaxed eyebrows, Father Emperor, these few days are a rare period of peace in your future life. Sure enough, 5 days later, news came from the south that the second prince had contracted an epidemic disease. Although he was successfully treated, he was left with a disability and would be lame for life. The third prince returned with the memorial, beaming with joy as he reported to his father, the emperor, "You took the medicine with you, didn't you? How could your second brother end up with a permanent disability?" The emperor did not directly grant any rewards. His question was both a test and a genuine inquiry. Father, second brother is physically weak. By the time I arrived, it was already too late, and I had to find someone to test the medicine on first, which delayed his treatment. I beg for your punishment. Father, forget it. You may rise. Now the crown prince is imprisoned, the second prince is disabled, and the crown prince is too timid and cowardly. At this point, only the third prince seems capable of taking on the responsibility. If only Tess were a man. at the very least, she has strategic insight. The emperor would never establish the youngest son as the heir, especially since the 3 older sons are already adults. Even if he places high hopes on the youngest, it would likely only endanger his life, as he lacks strong maternal family support. If the empress were willing, combined with the military's influence, it might still be possible for him to compete with the 3rd prince. The emperor has entertained the idea of favoring the youngest son, intending to make him the final whetstone for the 3rd prince. With an idea in mind, implementation became much faster. First, the emperor issued an edict to reward the 2nd prince. On the surface, it was a reward, but in reality, it was a demotion, from a powerful prince in the capital to a city lord guarding a fiefdom. Then, he deposed the crown prince and ordered him to reflect on his actions in his residence. He registered his youngest son under the empress's name. This made him the legitimate heir, and although he had not yet been granted a title, his status had become much more esteemed. 9. However, Lady Xiong was not so fortunate. How could one prince have 2 mothers? My father originally intended to bestow a cup of poisoned wine upon Lady Xiong, but I intervened to stop it at that moment. Lady Xiong also requested an audience with my father, volunteering to go to the royal temple and spend her days with the dim light of an oil lamp and the ancient Buddha. Father naturally and happily agreed. When Consort Xiong left the Hall of Diligent Governance, she glanced at me. I gave a light smile, and she quickly lowered her head and left. In this life, without Nanny Zhao by the empress's side, the empress naturally did not pay much attention to the 4th prince. Moreover, because of the previous argument with father, he even ignored father and the 4th prince when they came. Father had no choice but to bring me along to persuade the empress. As for why he brought me, it was naturally because I had expressed my longing for the empress in front of him. I tried to reason with him for a while. When we entered the empress's palace, the 4th prince was squatting on the ground playing with mud, showing no sign of being the legitimate heir. I gently helped the 4th prince to his feet. 4th brother, look, your hands are dirty. Let me wipe them for you. Okay, thank you, sister. Your son pays respects to the emperor father. Your etiquette is acceptable. Your mother has taught you well. Are you settling in? Father, I do not wish to be the legitimate heir. Mother makes me dig soil every day, saying she wants to plant flowers. All my etiquette was taught by Consort Xiong, and I miss her. The 4th prince shed tears of grievance. Although the emperor had no affection for him and had never visited, at this moment, the 4th prince was officially recorded under the empress's name by his decree, as their legitimate son. For the empress to act in such a manner was a blatant slap in the emperor's face. Father, please do not be angry. Rage harms the body. Mother is merely grieving for my late elder sister, which is why she has been neglectful of the 4th prince. Perhaps it would be better to let me take care of him instead. Well, how come you can't stand to see me doing well? The child the emperor gave me is mine, and what I do with it is my business. You, an unmarried woman, have no sense of shame at all. You actually want to take care of the child. As soon as I finished speaking, the empress rushed out. The corners of my mouth lifted slightly, and then I knelt on the ground in terror. I know I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please don't be angry, mother. I can still crawl and kneel as I used to, just to make you happy, but now that my elder sister is no longer here, if you'd like, you could even sit on me. I can handle it, as long as it makes you happy. You little bitch, what nonsense are you talking? Yes, it's my daughter's fault. I just knelt on the ground, kowtowing incessantly. On the 3rd kowtow, father helped me up. It was my fault. I shouldn't have let you suffer so much. Your Majesty, are you going to believe her over me again? In the past, you always trusted whatever I said. Seeing the emperor's anger, the empress finally regained a trace of reason and continued to play the emotional card. Father rubbed his temples, and I, with tears streaming down my face, supported him. Saving the lives of the crown prince and the 2nd prince is already the biggest concession I have made since my rebirth. As for the rest, I will not spare a single one. Yang He, you know that our past relationship was special. You have used that bond, along with my guilt toward you, to ask for many things. The glory of your Yang family, the honor of our daughter. Even when you committed so many wrongs, I covered them up for you. So why are you still not satisfied? Larosai is the one I have arranged for the latter half of your life, As long as you treat him well and your young family does its utmost to support him, I will help him ascend to the throne. Then, your young family will prosper for at least 3 more generations, which can be considered as compensation for the pain of losing your daughter. But what about you? You have failed my efforts. Forget it. I don't understand why you have become like this after Kira left. Perhaps Kira's departure has made you too worried. For now, I will take Larosai away. When you come to your senses in the future, I will send him back. You will always be my empress, and the power and status that belong to you and the young family will not be taken away. Come see me when you have thought it through. The emperor could not understand why the once sweet and ordinary family of 3 had turned into this because of their daughter's departure. With the empress becoming like a madwoman, he simply thought she had been traumatized. In reality, it was because the eldest sister sent letters to the empress every day, writing about the vast world outside, the freedom and ease of life out there. In the eldest sister's words, even the air outside was sweet, and riding on horseback across the grasslands with a loved one would make one feel that life was complete. The queen reads these letters every day and recalls the memories she shared with her father in the past. Back then, her father was a humble gentleman, nothing like the weary, haggard man he is now. Before leaving, I took a look at Leah. The reason the queen gave her that name is because she bears some resemblance to me. She must be having a hard time these days. After sending Xiao away, that very night, Leah knelt in my room. Leah, you've been with me for many years. You know how I've treated you, princess. I have always remembered your kindness to me, your servant. I helped Leah to her feet. I accidentally brushed against her arm. I waited for her to let out a soft cry of pain. I pretended to be concerned as I took the ointment and gently applied it to her wound. You were supposed to serve a few more years here before being allowed to leave the palace, but with Matron Zhao returning to her hometown, the Empress Dowager has recalled all of you. She said she wants you to serve her in the palace indefinitely, as she isn't used to anyone else. I lightly clapped my hands. A eunuch entered. Cousin Pear, cousin, you, cousin. Why are you here? This person castrated himself and fainted at the palace gate, saying he wanted to enter the palace to become a eunuch. He mentioned that his cousin works in the Empress's palace, so I brought him in. Cousin, if you cannot leave the palace, I will enter and accompany you for a lifetime. Cousin. Pear fell into the man's embrace, and I quietly watched the two of them. Princess, I beg you to let my cousin leave the palace. Cousin, princess, I beg you to let me serve in the Empress's palace. You two should go back and discuss it among yourselves first. Let me know once you've reached a decision. After the two of them left, I pondered the man's retreating figure. I hope you won't let me down. With multiple factors coming together, the Empress's path will soon come to an end. The next morning, Wang Che came to report back, saying he would remain in the palace and follow my orders. Since you put it that way, I want to say, I asked you to seduce the Empress, to have her take you as her intimate companion. Although your body is in this condition now, you can still manage to please a woman. Can't you? Think it over carefully. Once it's done, I can arrange for you to stay in the palace and take care of the Empress for the rest of your life. This servant is willing. How you do it is your business. Don't make me wait too long. Also, only the Empress can spare your life. Once it's done, have Leah notify me, and I will bring His Majesty there. And also, those 2 brothers brought by your stepmother in your household, I will hand them over to you to deal with. Thank you, Princess. This servant will certainly not fail your trust. After Wang Che left, I called Xiao into the room. Xiao knelt respectfully on the ground. Xiao, have you ever thought about your future path? Your Highness, as a servant of the palace, my entire future revolves around my masters. I follow whatever arrangements my masters make. Is that so? Then tell me, with 2 masters, whose orders should you follow? Your Highness, my loyalty belongs to you alone. Although my father is the master of this imperial city and even the entire realm, within the Morning Light Pavilion, I am the master. Your Highness, spare my life. I, your humble servant, admit my fault, but I had no other choice. I understand your difficulties. If only you had spoken like this from the beginning, how much better it would have been. This princess loves to eat water caltrops. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. 10. The next morning, news came that Xiao had drowned while picking water chestnuts. Maya, go and report to eunuch Jiang that I will contribute 50 taels of silver as funeral expenses for Qiao's loyalty to her master. And ask him to help deliver it to Qiao's family. Yes, watching my fourth brother writing in the study, so small and focused, I couldn't help but wonder, if my child were still alive, would she have grown up to be this serene or more lively? The emperor is growing older, and since the crown prince has been deposed, both the crown prince and his birth mother were granted fiefs by the emperor, allowing them to retire. The same happened to the second prince's birth mother, who went to his fief. Only consort Liu, the third prince's birth mother, remained in the capital due to the third prince's merits. The emperor conferred upon her the title of noble consort Liu. There are also the empress and the fourth prince. The rest are just some low-ranking consorts and ladies. Even if His Majesty favored one of them, he would reward her with a contraceptive soup. He knows his own body well. If he were to have another son now, it would only be a futile sacrifice. 1 month later, during this month, I contacted my maternal grandfather. As I had suggested, he reorganized the family's businesses in the capital. After my mother passed away, my grandfather retired to the Jiangnan region. In my previous life, he remained patient and restrained, but after my death, he exhausted the family fortune to hire various assassins to kill Jet Hu and Kira Mu. Unfortunately, he did not succeed. Now, my maternal grandfather has sent my uncle and cousin to manage the family assets in the capital. They have been gathering evidence of various acts of disrespect and illicit dealings among court officials from tea houses, taverns, and entertainment establishments. Following my instructions, Leah also retrieved several letters from my elder sister from the jewelry box in the Empress's chamber, because Wang Che bore some resemblance to the emperor in his youth. The Empress transferred him to her side to serve her closely. Another month passed, and Leah sent word that Wang Che had begun staying overnight in the Empress's bedchamber, with Leah keeping watch outside. The Empress, who had initially been cautious and only met with him once a week, now required Wang Che to sleep with her every night. The time is ripe. Just wait for Father Emperor's thunderous wrath on the night of the 15th of August when the moon is full. Father Emperor drew consort Liu's name card. Upon hearing the news, the Empress had Wang Che come in early to attend to her. Meanwhile, I carried the only pastry the Empress knew how to make and went to the Hall of Diligent Governance. Father, tonight is the Mid-Autumn Festival with a full moon. Although we are not celebrating this year due to what happened with my elder sister, it is still a night for family reunions. Please rest early today, set aside state affairs, and enjoy the moon with your daughter. I pushed the pastry forward a little. The Empress stared at the pastries in a daze. These pastries were what the Empress had made for him when they first met. The Empress often boasted in front of her legitimate daughter about how beautiful she was and how she had captivated the Emperor. How just one plate of pastries had made him unable to take his eyes off her. Moreover, whenever she sent these pastries, no matter which consort's palace the Emperor had planned to visit that day, he would change his mind and come to hers instead. Enough, let's go to the Empress's palace. Understood. This servant will have the Empress prepare. No need, I shall lower my head for her one more time. Then may your daughter accompany the Emperor. Father, you've endured much hardship. You truly are a good child. Even though your mother treated you that way, you still treat her like this. Arrived at the Empress's palace, Father Emperor brought me and eunuch Jiang to the entrance of the Empress's bedchamber. Upon seeing us, Leah flusteredly tried to go inside to report, but was stopped by Father Emperor. The Empress's palace is quite quiet today, but you, why do you not pay respects upon seeing us, and what are you flusteredly trying to do, Your Majesty? This servant only wished to enter and report to Her Majesty the Empress. No need, I shall enter myself. As my father spoke, he took several steps forward to the door. Just as he pushed it open slightly, he heard indescribable sounds coming from within. Having been married to the Empress for many years, my father naturally understood what her current sounds meant. Your Majesty, I have learned a new position. Would you like to try it? How many times must I say this? When we are alone in the room, call me here. I will comply with all your wishes. Here, is this all right? Tilda, father. What is mother doing? Upon hearing my words, father snapped back to reality, grabbed his sword, and rushed inside. I had no idea the Empress was so shameless. Your Majesty, I, your humble consort, please let me explain. The emperor father raised his sword and was about to strike Wang Che. Wang Che simply gazed at the empress with adoration. Sure enough, the empress stepped in front of Wang Che. Your Majesty, everything is my fault, please spare him. Do you really think that I would not dare to take your life? I have no complaints. With Kira gone and your Majesty estranged from me, if not for him, I would have already died of heartbreak. Seeing the empress mention Kira Mu, Father Emperor's heart softened. By imperial decree, the empress has been found lacking in virtue and is hereby confined to her bedchamber. As he spoke, the emperor glanced at Wang Che, unable to conceal the murderous intent in his eyes. Father, if we kill this man and confine Mother as well, it may invite public criticism. Let us instead claim that Mother is unwell and allow this man to remain to care for her. Furious, the emperor stormed out of the bedchamber. Upon reaching the door, he saw Leah kneeling there and kicked her directly. You are quite loyal, actually guarding the door for her and doing such things. Apart from these two, all the other palace maids and eunuchs shall be handed over to the inner court for discipline and reassignment. Since you are so much to her liking, serve her for the rest of your life. Seal the empress's palace gates. All food and supplies shall be provided according to the rank of a low-ranking consort. She is not to leave her bedchamber unless she dies. Che Lang, we can be together for a lifetime now. As soon as Father Emperor finished speaking, Mother Empress happily collapsed into Wang Che's arms, completely failing to see the sinister smile on Wang Che's face. Upon hearing the Empress's words, the Emperor spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. I took care of my father without even changing my clothes for 3 days before he slowly regained consciousness. Father, you're awake. Please rest assured, third brother is handling the court affairs very well. The ministers all say he has the talent to govern the world. So you needn't worry about these matters. That's right, Father, with Sister Tess taking care of you, I am also at ease. You should just enjoy your retirement in peace. The third prince entered the room and sat before his father without even performing the customary salute. Are you planning to seize the throne, Father? How could you think that? Wouldn't it be better for you to become the retired emperor? I will spare the lives of all my brothers. Except for the fourth prince. After all, Father dotes on him, and to eliminate future troubles, it's better for the fourth prince to die. How dare you? Do you think you can control the imperial court just because I've been ill for 3 days? Dream on, Father, you are old. Do you think I have only been planning for these 3 days? You, unfilial son. Guards, Father, I am here. If you have any orders, just give them. Guards, Father Emperor shouted again with force. Your humble general is here. Jet, whose voice came from outside the door. The third prince immediately panicked. Someone, come here, the third prince shouted while retreating towards the door. Your Highness, is it him you're calling for? Jet, who, holding a human head in his hand, directly threw it at the third prince. My father looked at me and finally breathed a sigh of relief. After Jet, who had the third prince under control, my father held my hand. Tess, bring the paper and brush. I will personally write the edict. Tess, marry General Hu. I will bestow upon him the title of Regent Prince and have the fourth prince ascend the throne. With your talent and General Hu's bravery, you can ensure the stability of my kingdom until the fourth prince comes of age. Father, I do not wish to marry General Hu. I can take care of my younger brother, the fourth prince, and when he comes of age, I will become a nun. I do not want to tarnish the relationship between my elder sister and General Hu. I will also teach the fourth prince to respect his brothers and maintain harmony among them. I will spare the lives of my elder brothers. But as for the third brother, that decision still rests with you. Father, good child. You truly have a pure and kind heart. As for your third brother, confine him to prison and let him spend the rest of his life there. My daughter knows. After calming my father's emotions, Jet Hu and I walked out of the room. Thank you, General Hu, for tonight. This is what I promised you. I placed the letter my legitimate sister wrote to the Empress in Jet Hu's hand. Of course, there were also several letters inside that I had written in my elder sister's handwriting. All about Jet Hu. Thank you, Princess. I take my leave. Jet Hu took the letters and left, seeing how excited he looked. I hoped he would be just as thrilled after reading the contents of the letters. After all, the letters described how carefree and happy my elder sister was outside, and how foolish she thought Jethu was in her heart. Of course, part of it was fabricated by me. 11. Early the next morning, my father, the emperor, mustered his strength and went to the court to issue an edict, appointing my fourth brother as the new emperor. He himself abdicated the throne and entrusted me with his care. After his passing, I, along with Jethu and several imperial tutors, were to assist my fourth brother until he came of age. Jethu, with reddened eyes, accepted the decree and expressed his gratitude. After the court session, everyone praised Jethu and my elder sister for their deep affection and loyalty, which had earned my father's appreciation. This only made Jethu's frown deepen. That day, Jethu wrote a letter to arrange a meeting with me, Princess Tess. Have you read the contents of the letter? No, letters are private matters. If I didn't know about the deep bond between General Hu and my elder sister, I would never have delivered the letter to General Hu. Is it a plea for help from my elder sister? She must be trapped in enemy territory, waiting for the general to rescue her. Indeed, once the capital is at peace, I plan to go to the border to bring back the princess. That's good, then I'll trouble the general with this matter. Half a month later, the enthronement ceremony and other related events had concluded, and the fourth prince had already ascended the throne. Jethu could no longer sit still and had requested orders to go to the border to stabilize the military situation there. Both the fourth prince and the emperor naturally granted their approval. Soon, Jethu set off. On the surface, he was traveling with the main force, but in secret, he had already ridden a fast horse away from the capital, heading toward the secluded paradise mentioned in the letter. At this time, it was still the sweetest moment between his legitimate sister and that man. News from the capital had not yet reached other countries. The man was still working hard to persuade his legitimate sister to take him back to her country, secure him the position of prince consort, and grant him an official post, preferably one that involved leading troops. When Jethu arrived, he saw his beloved elder sister lying in a man's arms on the yellowed grass, her face filled with an unstoppable smile. The man lowered his head and gently kissed the corner of her lips, and she lifted her head to meet his kiss. If she weren't Jethu's beloved, anyone who witnessed such a scene would feel envious. But this was Jethu, a person whose love ran so deep that his hatred would be equally profound. Kira Mu, Jethu shouted loudly and then rode forward on his horse. Upon hearing Jethu's voice, my elder sister froze for a moment, then immediately shielded the man beside her behind her back. General Hu, come back to the capital with me. General Hu, Princess Kira is dead. I merely resemble her in appearance. Please remain calm. General, resemble her. Resemble her. Will the princess return with me willingly, or shall I have her escorted back? The choice is yours. Princess, you dare. Would the princess care to test this? Guards, seize her. Several soldiers stepped forward and surrounded Kira Mu. Kira, the man called out anxiously, but made no other move. My lord, you go back first. When I return, I will have my father send me off in a grand and honorable marriage. I want to marry you openly and properly. All right, the man agreed with a yes, and then ran off without stopping. Jethu smiled bitterly, realizing he had been outdone by such a thing. Without delay, Jethu ignored the army and immediately took Kira Mu back to the capital. He wanted to return to the capital to see me, believing that I must still know something more. 12. However, the journey from the capital to the border was long, and by the time he returned, my father had already been confined by me in the Empress's palace. My fourth brother had voluntarily abdicated in my favor and, along with consort Xiong, went to a prosperous fiefdom to reunite with his mother. As for those in the court who were dissatisfied with me, they were naturally suppressed by the people I had previously won over. Now, even if they are dissatisfied, they can only be dissatisfied in their hearts, unable to change the course of events, to show his loyalty. Jet, who had already handed over his military authority and command token to me before leaving the capital, now, he is a commander without an army. By the time he returned to the capital with his legitimate sister, exhausted from the journey, the capital had already changed beyond recognition. Upon returning to his residence, he wrote a formal request and submitted it to the palace, pleading with the emperor to grant him an audience and stating that he had found the legitimate princess. Of course, His post is right on my desk. I have also sent eunuch Jiang back to his hometown to retire. The attendants serving by my side now are still those few palace maids. I gently rubbed the visiting card. Now that everything has been settled, it is time to seek revenge. Summon General Hu to meet me at the Hall of Diligent Governance after court tomorrow. Also, give this to General Hu and my elder sister to consume tomorrow. Yes, my lady, I understand. Although these palace maids have only been with me for a few months, their work and character have deeply impressed me. The next day, Jet Hu then brought Kira Mu to the Hall of Diligent Governance. I sat in the side seat, watching the two of them. The general has arrived. Ah, my elder sister. My elder sister is truly not dead. That's wonderful. Father and mother will surely be overjoyed. I heard it was you who didn't want to marry him back then. I've really given you too much face. If you had married him, how could he have disturbed my life with my husband? This, elder sister, I didn't know it was like this. I was wrong, sister. Father and mother will be here soon. Please sit first. Don't be angry. Have some tea to calm down. It's all my fault. General Hu, please sit as well. Father will be here shortly. Have some water first. Watching the two of them finish every last drop in their cups, I finally smiled and walked to the main seat. Get down from there. In a moment, when father and mother arrive, they'll skin you alive. How dare you sit there? I watched as my elder sister's raised hand slowly dropped powerlessly, and saw Jet Hu shake his head. Only then did I speak. Sister, since I am sitting here, I have my reasons. Now that the female ruler of an kingdom has ascended the throne, who do you think this female ruler is? What do you mean? What about my brother and the emperor? What have you done to them? These matters are not for you, the legitimate elder sister, to concern yourself with. What you should be considering is how you have returned from death. Tell me, how do you intend to explain this to the world? And General Hu, leaving your troops without permission and returning to the capital privately, each of these offenses warrants the extermination of your 9 clans. Considering your circumstances may warrant some leniency, your position will be revoked and your status demoted. You have no objections, do you, Princess Tess? It was clearly you. You were the one who sent me the letter, telling me to go to that place to find Princess Kira. Oh, where's the evidence? Princess, I gently tapped my hand on the table. Now that my enemy is right before my eyes, I'm so overjoyed I don't even know what to do. I gently clapped my hands. Carry the two of them into the house. After carrying them into the house, I closed the door and sat quietly outside, listening to the sounds inside while pondering what would be the best course of action to take next. Early the next morning, the two of them fell asleep, utterly exhausted. I summoned the imperial physician to examine Kira Mu's pulse. Your Majesty, this woman is already 1 month pregnant. However, due to yesterday's events, there are some signs of instability in the pregnancy. Should we preserve the fetus or, of course, preserve the fetus, ensure she safely gives birth to the child? Yes. Sister, did you hear? You're carrying that man's child, Brother Kang. I'm pregnant with Brother Kang's child. My elder sister was now weeping with joy. It showed how much she loved this child and that man. Indeed, forcing her to part from the man she loved most at the peak of her affection was the most fitting course of action. Why do I still have no strength? I wonder what medicine Her Majesty the Queen has given me. General, surely it's not just something simple. General Hu, you have long been on the battlefield. Ordinary medicine would hardly be worthy of you. From now on, you will be no different from a cripple. But rest assured, I do not wish for you to die so soon. Keeping you alive will surely have its uses. I locked the two of them in the room. I went to see the Empress and my father. The Empress had been tortured by Wang Che to the point of being unrecognizable, and my father was terrified by his methods, living in constant fear. When he saw me, my father looked at me with a pleading expression. Tess, I know this isn't your true intention. I agree to let you become the emperor. If you release me, I promise to obediently serve as the retired emperor. Father, back then, did my mother say she would be content with her lot and only ask you to spare her and my life, and that she wanted none of the other favors, power, or gold and silver? You know how she died, don't you? Upon hearing my words, father took a few steps back in terror. Tess Mu, you remember. Yes, father is truly heartless. To make the Empress jealous, you favored my mother, and to make Kira Mu jealous, you favored me. Yet when my mother died because of this, you were overjoyed. How can you be so happy, since you enjoy being happy so much? Then be happy here to your heart's content. There will be even happier things waiting for you in the future. Kira Mu has been locked up by me and is being well taken care of. As for Jet Hu, I have hired a sorcerer to hypnotize him continuously every day. After 6 months, he has finally completely forgotten about the past. Now, his heart is filled only with thoughts of Kira Mu, and naturally, in his mind, the child in Kira Mu's womb is the fruit of their love, in his heart. After marrying Kira Mu, they were affectionate for a few days before he went off to battle. Kira Mu waited alone in the capital, pregnant with his child. On the battlefield, he was ambushed, lost his martial arts skills, and was rescued by his subordinates and sent back to the capital for treatment. The emperor, grateful for his contributions, allowed him and Kira Mu to reside together in the palace, watching him excitedly grasp Kira Mu's hand and pull her into an embrace. I couldn't help but laugh at how he completely missed the look of disdain on Kira Mu's face and the way she protectively covered her stomach. This time, let you taste the pain of losing your own child. Because her belly was getting bigger, Kira Mu was afraid that Jet Hu would harm her and the child, so she had no choice but to pretend according to Jet Hu's words. 13. On the day Kira Mu gave birth, Jet Hu was anxiously pacing around, and I thoughtfully invited the emperor and the empress over. The emperor looked at Kira Mu and Jet Hu, and the confusion on his face grew heavier. Father, do you know, the child in my elder sister's womb belongs to someone from Shang Kingdom. Look how much General Hu loves her. If I had married him back then, how could I face myself when my elder sister returns? But, isn't Kira dead? Yes, she will die soon. No, are you going to kill her? You promised to spare the brothers' lives, but she is not my brother, she is my sister. Upon seeing Kira Mu, the queen felt a glimmer of hope, dragging her broken body. She stumbled and crawled her way toward Kira Mu. Kira, take your mother away with you, to your vast grasslands, to watch eagles soar and grass grow. Your mother is being tortured to death. It seems Kira Mu has to endure the pain of childbirth while also processing everyone's words. Mother, it hurts so much. Kira Mu's face contorted in pain. Dear sister, of course it hurts. After all, I had someone use needles to amplify your pain perception. You're not just hurting now, you'll be in even more pain soon. What are you going to do? You'll find out in a moment. I quietly waited outside the door, listening as the sounds from inside gradually shifted from intense to faint. Early the next morning, Kira Mu gave birth to a boy. She held the child with a face full of joy. Although the pain in her body was almost unbearable, she had given birth to her beloved's child, a boy at that, and this joy could somewhat alleviate the pain. I took the child from her in front of her. Everyone looked at me with confusion. Kira Mu even fell off the bed in her agitation. I handed the child to the palace maid, and soon she had the child cleaned and brought back to me. I took out a dagger from my bosom and directly stabbed it into the child's chest. No, no. The voices of Kira Mu and Jet Hu sounded at the same time. The emperor seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if he had been hoping for this child to die. The queen even spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted directly. I had the men separated. That night, the intoxicating fragrance of infatuation drifted through Kira Mu's room. The two men cast a disdainful glance at Kira Mu's lower body. What a pity. If only we had waited a few more days for it to be cleaner. Are you trying to get us killed? Hurry up and get this done, or we won't even know how we died. I quietly watched as Kira Mu climbed onto the necks of the two men. When the timing was about right, the guard outside Jet Hu's room fell asleep, and Jet Hu rushed non-stop to see Kira Mu. The result was seeing Kira Mu's appearance. Jet Hu rushed forward with a dark face, but he was no match for the two men. He could only watch helplessly. Watching helplessly as Kira Mu had his limbs severed by the man, watching them nail Kira Mu's hands and feet to the bed with daggers. General Hu, does it hurt? Why would Princess Tess do this? She is your sister. You can ask her when you're dead. The sharp dagger sliced across Jet Hu's lower body, and he felt a sudden pain before immediately passing out. When he woke up, he found himself in the largest brothel in the capital. What awaited him were the men of the capital who favored male companions, with at least 10 stirring sticks each day. Tess Mu, how dare you? How dare you treat me like this? Kira Mu lay weakly on the couch. Eldest sister, Don't be angry, not only do I dare, I can do even more. My child isn't dead, is that right? Is that right? Ha, eldest sister, if you want to reunite with him, you'll have to wait a while longer. I gently clapped my hands. 3 more men entered. Let's begin. Make sure the portrait is lifelike, capturing every detail of my elder sister's body, especially the moles on her. What are you going to do? Naturally, it's to let your brother Kang see how carefree you are in the kingdom of An, starting today. A different man will accompany you each day. The painter will capture every detail meticulously, and I will send the portraits to the kingdom of Sheng to be delivered to your brother Sheng. Looking at the bright sunshine outside, how could I let you die so easily? I want you to suffer for a lifetime, repaying the pain I endured in my previous life.